how can the conservative movement take a strong policy of the Trump administration and fight back against the corrupt media and politicians, but at the same time distance itself from the unpopular aspects of Trumpism? How can we avoid that what happened in the Georgia Senate race and scale on a national level what happened in the Virginia governor's race?
Yeah, okay, so how do we win? How do we avoid what happened in Georgia? How do we get wins like we had in Virginia?
How do we get America back?
How do we get America back? Look, we are in the process of it. More than anything, I want to encourage you. One of the blessings of serving in the Senate is I get to travel all over the state of Texas. I get to travel all over the country. I see what's happening. People are waking up in incredible numbers, in powerful numbers. Georgia. So I was in Georgia during that Senate runoff. I went 3 times to campaign in Georgia, did rallies with thousands of people in the state of Georgia. I will tell you, sadly, I wasn't surprised when we lost in Georgia. Because you could see it at the rallies. Our people were demoralized. They were dispirited. They were discouraged. And our people stayed home. For the runoffs in the Senate election in Georgia, our people were they were mad, they'd given up hope, they stayed home, and the other side was angry, and they showed up in big numbers. And if one side shows up and the other side stays home, that's how we lose elections. Here's the good news. I don't think that's going to happen in November. Number one, there are people all over this country that are seeing the train wreck that these guys are doing. And they're saying, we've got to stop it now. I think our guys are going to show up and we're going to crawl over broken glass to show up. And even their voters are demoralized. You take a state like Virginia. Part of the question was Virginia. Look, Virginia, there were a bunch of voters in Virginia who voted for Joe Biden, who turned around and voted for Glenn Youngkin. And you think about it. Look, Joe Biden campaigned. He campaigned as this reasonable, centrist, moderate, no more mean tweets. You know, we're going to go back to a happy day of yesteryear where everything is calm. And, you know, you think about it, look, there were a lot of Americans to whom that was an attractive vision. That has not been how he's governed. And you saw in Virginia, look, Biden won Virginia by 10 points. In Virginia, you saw a lot of suburban moms who were furious at what was happening in the schools. You look at Loudoun County, and I've gotten to know some of those Loudoun County moms. The facts of what happened in Loudoun County, there was a 14-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted in the bathroom. She was raped by a boy in a skirt.
Oh my God.
In the bathroom. The father went to the school. The school covered it up. Because their ideology, they insisted there are no sexual assaults by boys in skirts in the girls' bathroom. It doesn't happen. So they took the rapist and they transferred him to another school where he sexually assaulted another girl. He's now being prosecuted for those sexual assaults. The father of this 14-year-old went to the school board and was pissed, and you would be pissed too. And he was standing up saying, what are you doing to protect my daughter? And the school board said, there have been no sexual assaults in our schools. And no boy dressed as a girl is assaulted him. They're just lies. And they physically, forcefully arrested him, threw him to the ground. Then the National Association of School Boards wrote a letter to Joe Biden describing that incident directly, describing him and other parents upset about school board policies, including critical race theory. They described them all as domestic terrorists. 4 days later, Merrick Garland, Biden's Attorney General, wrote a memo directing the Department of Justice and the FBI to go after parents as domestic terrorists. In Virginia, there were a lot of moms that were pissed. And they should be. That arrogance and abuse. So the way we win is we're happy warriors. We speak the truth. Look, Between free enterprise and socialism, one works, the other's a disaster. Between secure borders and open borders, one works and the other's a disaster. And so between defending free speech and religious liberty and the Second Amendment, one works and the other's a disaster. Why is it that the 10 highest tax states in the country, people are fleeing? Why is it that 1,000 people a day come to Texas? We need to be speaking common sense and doing it with a smile. I think taking the rhetoric, sometimes the rhetoric gets too hot, and I think we ought to take the rhetoric from an 11 down to an 8. Not a 2, don't put people to sleep. But just calm down a little bit, speak the truth, and that's how we win. And I think that's the path we saw in Virginia, and I think it'll be the path we see across the country in November.